edited corrections, whatever. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Who's gonna be the shortest between the road agent and transfer station?
Doesn't matter to me.
It might be up to us.
It's up,
Yeah, well,
We do toothpicks.
if you can be short, we'll let you go first since you were here first.
I mean, I am
Matt.
short. Yeah, I can be
All
very
right,
short.
you're up, Matt.
All right. Does everyone have a copy of the proposed budget? Basically, we did about a 4% increase from last year. Recycling markets are costing more money, and that's the trend. It's just going to keep going up. Also, the contractor that we have, Casella, their rate is slowly going up 2.5% or something. I think he said 2.5. We did have some issues with the compactor. So our equipment has gone over, and it's an older compactor, so it's been having some issues. We had a lot of challenges with it this year so far. The Lebanon landfill, they actually increased their disposal tipping fee, not by a large amount, but it was like $5, which adds up over the course of the year. Basically, trucking costs. We also have the hazardous waste collection. That is a hit or miss. It depends on how many residents have certain amounts of hazardous waste that they want to dispose of at the collections. Yeah, those are the basic changes and why they were changed. So we increased about almost $5,000 from last year for the overall budget.
Any questions from people?
So what's the difference between solid waste and C&D again? Solid waste is what?
Solid waste is just the trash, like the
Trash
actual
that's
trash.
right in there. And we still do C&D?
We
We
don't.
don't do C&D.
I think that got thrown in with the solid waste.
So the
So the solid waste compactor and labor is actually the Casella. The trash and C&D disposal is actually just the solid waste, the MSW, which is the municipal solid waste. So yeah, maybe those.
So that's the town solid waste.
Maybe they can rename them.
Yeah, I think we got to change
Yeah.
the headings of these so they're not as
So the
confusing.
trash C&D is the municipal side, nothing to do with residents.
Yeah, the trash and C&D disposal, that's what we're paying for Lebanon landfill tipping fees, disposal costs.
So are we, as a town, not going to have C&D residences anymore?
So the Lebanon landfill, with their tipping fee change, they also changed their way of dealing with construction debris and bulky waste. So like instead of them charging the flat rate, they were charging $70 a ton. Instead of charging that $70 a ton across the board for solid waste and C&D, they started trying to like stop putting the C&D into the landfill by raising their C&D fee. So now it's $150 a ton. Whereas we were disposing of bulky waste and C&D in the trash truck, they will charge us double if we have that material. So like they'll charge us $150 a ton for the whole load.
Regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
So the solution, if we wanted to have C&D here, would be to have a separate compactor for C&D only?
Yeah, I mean, if there were a demand for having it here, we still own some 40-yard bins. And I was thinking if it came to it, like we could do a collection every so often, so that people that had bulky waste and C&D could have that event, kind of like the hazardous waste collection event. Because like we have a lot higher demand for the trash, the smelly stuff. But yeah, there has been a lot of people that come in that they don't want to take it all the way to Lebanon. So I think that would be maybe that would be a town meeting thing, or I'm not really sure.
what's the price for the MSW then on that?
75 a ton right now. And then like bulky waste is 130. And then the C&D, which is like
Yeah.
roofing, yeah.
In other words, this price is expensive, basically.
Can I ask a really weird question?
Absolutely.
Just because I'm curious,
Mhm.
you know, in Vermont, they've made a mandate for food waste.
Yeah.
Are we ever gonna be up against that?
I haven't heard anything from DES about it. I mean, if we were, we would have to figure out a solution to it. Right now, like, we really don't have the capacity or the space to do any kind of food composting things.
composting.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically wet trash.
I have researched that, and there's like vendors that can come around with bins and deposit it and then pick it up, but that's an added
Which
cost.
is a little different process than what we do.
Yeah.
I was just curious if there was any, you know, comments
Not
out there,
that I've
just because it was very interesting, because it seemed really complex and
Yeah.
challenging, and so I didn't know if this was something that was gonna evolve to where we have to think
I
about.
mean, you know, it might, I know this industry is just rapidly changing. You know, the less space that they have for themselves, you know, they're trying to think of different ways to reduce that from getting overfilled, but.
Ask a question about what the paper throw trash bags, what are those?
That's another thing, we gotta change the heading. So the paper throw stickers now is what we're doing.
It's not
The
trash bag.
the trash bags, yeah, I gotta change these.
Use my bag.
So the bags,
What bags?
we used to spend a lot of money on the bags, and we didn't have anywhere to put the bags, so we were spending money on storage fees, and then the actual bags themselves were very expensive. We've switched to basically the cards and the stickers. I think what we're planning on doing is switching more towards the stickers, just that way keeps the process that we're trying to achieve, like, keep it constantly moving. But yeah, that's the sticker cost is, and actually we've gone through quite a lot of that this year, but.
Well, you don't double bag, we used to get bags and bags.
That's not like totally true, and I emailed about this before, but is there still only one sticker, and the stickers are $3?
Yep.
Yeah, so it used to be that a 13-gallon, which is your typical kitchen size bag, when you did pay per use, right, those were $1.50, right, a piece is what it worked out to be, and the larger bags were $3. So I went into the hardware store and I wanted to get $1.50 stickers and said, oh, I don't have $3 stickers. I only have $3 stickers, and I said, well, that kind of sucks because now I'm a house with 3 people. we don't produce that much garbage, right? And so now I'm paying $3 to throw out a bag of trash, and 4 or 5 people were in line, and in concert they said, oh, what you do is you take 3 bags and you put them in a big bag and you put a $3 sticker on it. And that's what, I have to think that was representative of like what people are doing.
Well, that's
And
what
part
we
of
used
the-
to do.
Right, but because the paper throw bags were so relatively low quality and they would split. So people would take their kitchen bag, whatever hefty
Put
or
it in
whatever,
the
and
big
put
bag.
it inside the pay bag. And when Kevin came to the budget committee meeting last year and said, oh, we want to change this, one of the rationales was we shouldn't be putting all these bags into the landfill. They're not biodegradable. It's plastic waste, and we have microplastics in all of our soil, and we're like going to kill ourselves with it. And so I don't think we've solved that problem. I think that we may be possibly exacerbating it, and I think the town could be losing money because I bet those bags weigh too much when they put 3 bags of
Why not
13-gallon
just
bags
get
into a
2 price
larger bag.
stickers? How about 15?
Yeah,
That's what I said.
When it weighs too much, we'll charge someone double. We did have a bathroom scale at one point.
But then you have to stop and
The
weigh
weight
it, and
on
there's
the
a
Yeah, I mean,
line.
there's no
was
real
the same.
perfect way
Hmm?
to.
The little bags and the big bags had the same weight limit.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd be happy to get 2 sets. I think like 2 sets of stickers, I'll admit, I don't think that will fully solve the problem, because I think there are people who will probably try to pay less money to reduce their waste.
So what I meant by saving money is, so we were spending $7,000 on
The stickers are cheaper.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
stickers
yeah.
are cheaper for the town overall.
Yeah.
And you know, like with the extra costs that we were acquiring from Casella and stuff, you know, we were trying to cut costs in any spots that we could, so.
Yeah, I just think we should have 2 sets of stickers, green stickers and
I
yellow
don't
stickers, or
know,
something, and then
compared
a
to other
sticker
places, the
on.
$3 is cheap.
Yeah.
So to complain that you only have $3 sticker, go some other places and you'll find.
We could get $3 and $5 stickers. Would that make you happy?
I mean,
I mean, people just are not used to paying the going rate, and then we're cheap for getting rid of trash in this town.
Yeah.
Also accumulate your garbage for 2 weeks.
well, I can't, that's.
Well, in winter you can. In the winter
Maybe
you
it's
can.
just we put
Yeah, but
food
it's
waste in
not,
our garage.
yeah, it's
Well, that's
not,
what we have garbage.
well, I compost my food
Oh,
waste
do you?
though.
So it's
Yeah,
dry.
we have we produce, and I've made it an effort, it's effortful to produce very little garbage in my house.
Well, the problem is
So-
if you just have one bag of garbage, it starts to stink in the summer.
In the
It's
summertime,
wintertime,
sure, in the
so-
winter
Yeah,
it's
in the
not as
winter, I
bad,
put it
but
out
then
in
my
the garage and it
recycling,
freezes.
I've got a lot of recycling,
You can
it
go
piles
3
up,
weeks.
and, you know, yeah.
6 weeks.
But anyway, that's just my those are my 2 cents, and if I have to continue paying $3
Fair enough.
I don't care that much.
Any other comments about solid waste? I guess I'll say thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, well, thank
Thank
you.
All right,
Have a good evening.
Steve, you're up.
That would've been quicker.
Sorry
It is a
about
little
that.
starting
Sorry.
to have a course going on.
You got the printouts Dina gave you, they highlighted? And not highlighted.
Oh, they were on the
Yeah.
Okay,
computer.
okay, so you see
I,
the,
the
The
one,
black and white copies don't
the
have the
page
yellows.
I went,
so you see the 5 line items where I wanna go up, and the overall increase was 69,822 at a 9.22% increase. You need me to explain each line item where I want to do the increases, or? Because the numbers are kind of skewed, I mean, there's a lot of bills that are still out there, stuff I've purchased that aren't in, especially on the culvert line item, on the mechanic line item, on the parts and maintenance repair, those are a couple of the items that I'm way over on. But if you want to start, you know, we can start from the beginning on culverts, going up from 15,000 to 25,000. Obviously, we got a new excavator, so I mean, we're putting in some culverts, you know, so we got that machine, we got to feed it, you know, we got to get some culverts, and there's a lot of them out there that, you know, that have to be replaced. So
How's the machine working now?
it's awesome. You know, it's like today I had to do a culvert on Baker Hill, and typically it takes all day with a backhoe. We started at 8 and we were done at 9:30, and I had predicted I was going to go till 3. So it's really, we went back sloping where we can, where the roads are narrow, and it's worth it. The next one was, one of the bigger ones was payroll and overtime. You know, still, you know, we've been fighting for years trying to get the highway department, you know, equal and fair pay, especially compared to some of the other departments and neighboring highway departments. So that's another, one of the reasons for the increases. I mean, and in the summer overtime, I mean, $3,118 really isn't very significant for overtime for summer, you know. I typically like to try and grade, you know, mow hay when the sun shines. When there's a moisture content in the gravel in the early spring, if you can get those roads graded and set up in that time frame, we've had roads that pretty much are just grading them once a year, other than some of the busy thoroughfares, but I mean, it's gone down from grading 2, 3, 4 times a year. So, like I said, working some of those Saturdays and Sundays, especially right after mud season ends, I think is well worth the money. So vehicle maintenance and repair, it's at,
Yeah, contracted services was the next one you had.
yeah, oh yeah, from 14 to 20, yeah, that is, most of that is,
8 to 20.
yeah, but I spent 14, and you know, most of that is grading. Like I said, we have Alan Rowell, who comes from Norwich. He has his own grading business, and he comes over and he used that. It's like 5,000 a week, 40 hours a week. So we try to rent him 3 or 4 hours, 3 or 4 weeks a year. And that just gives us a leg up, especially in the spring. Gives you a better product, quicker for the taxpayers, and like I was saying about that moisture content, just trying to get the roads graded quicker. Just see, and he does such a great job, he's, once again, he grades stuff once and it pretty much lasts the entire season. Next one was vehicle maintenance and repair. Let me explain this a little bit today. We're at 25,000. Well, we have 12 pieces of equipment at the shop, so that gives you roughly $2,000 per piece of equipment for maintenance. To give you an example of how low that is, just to buy filters for the grader for one oil change is $900, not counting oil. So that's roughly $2,000 per machine. It's just not nearly enough, especially when I think my oldest truck right now is 14 years old. It's 2004, 15 years old. So I mean, we keep these trucks forever, and I've proven, I've brought in all the records year after year, and it's just not cost effective keeping these trucks this long. And that's another thing you're not seeing on here is right now I have an outstanding $20,000. I blew an engine. I have a $20,000 bill. It's not on here yet.
Well, that shows up on the emergency repair
Well,
capital reserve fund.
if that's where we're going to take it from, we don't know yet. If I get the money at the end of the year in my budget, then that's where it'll come from, because the emergency repair fund, have you looked at it lately? It's pretty low.
Well, that
It's
was
like,
set up. for
last I
those
knew it had
things.
$23,000 in it.
Well,
So,
but that's a selectman's decision for
Right,
that fund
so-
in terms of hitting it up.
and I think the last one was just highway parts and equipment. We budgeted 10.5. I spent 12.8 already.
So last year we went through all this, I don't recall vehicle maintenance coming up as an issue, and we had budgeted 25. Why, if you're, when you were paying the same last year when we were going through this, why didn't we hear the same argument?
I believe we did hear it last year.
We cut it, it looks like it was 45 the year before.
I brought
I
all,
don't know if we cut it or not, I don't know if, I'll go back and look at the notes and see what the proposal was.
but last year I brought in every piece of equipment, the expenditures for the entire year for the budget committee to go over.
Well, it went from 42, and
And-
we cut it down to
and-
25, and now you're asking it basically to go back to basically what the
And-
218.
Yes,
level
and another
was.
thing just to remember, over the past 6, 7 years, we've added like 4 or 5 pieces of equipment. So, the monies from, 5, 10 years ago isn't cutting it. We've added the cruiser, the roller, the excavator, an extra ton truck, and that's 4 pieces right there, plus the trailer. So, we've added several pieces that obviously take money to maintain.
You may want to change the title from vehicle maintenance and repair to vehicle and equipment,
Right.
because you're using that line for equipment like the grader, and that may be, a change that selectmen might want to consider. Just to be more descriptive of what the line really is.
And can I ask what the difference between the vehicle maintenance and repair and the parts and equipment are? Is the vehicle's maintenance and repair, is that basically labor involved, or are the parts involved there too?
I really don't know what the difference is between the two. I know that I go way over on them every year, but I really couldn't tell you. I use them. What I do is I'll go through these manifest sheets and pull it out of whichever one has the most in it. I'll pull them out of there,
Once upon a time, the parts and equipment was for things like chainsaws and that type of thing, as opposed to vehicles. And that was how they were set up 20 years ago.
So, yeah, if I had enough money to keep the equipment going, I wouldn't dip into that one.
Yeah.
But
How about equipment now, Steve? On the,
what's the number on the line item?
22.
22.
you see, this budget goes through March, right?
No, December.
It's calendar year.
Calendar year.
And then we go into winter budget starting on November 1st.
So the 2,500 year-to-date, or as of September?
Yeah, that equipment rental, that was kind of set up as, I don't think we did I'm trying to see if we did.
Mowing was what it was originally.
Right, I'm trying to see if we did a separate one for mowing, I don't think we did, and I didn't mow this year to save money because I had so many other expenditures with equipment and stuff. I didn't mow purposely just to save money. But that's usually, it's not enough either. Last time we spec'd that out, it was 25 grand to do the roadside
So
mowing.
what are we not mowing? We're not mowing the roadside mow?
Right, I didn't this year. We did a small one last year. Next, I don't wanna cut that out because next year, I plan on renting the machines if the company's still viable and doing it myself. It's been a few years since it's been done properly.
And it gets to the point where you got a lot of these 1-inch saplings.
Yeah, and we used to sub it out in a couple different companies, and both companies told me the same thing, that I'm wasting my money, their boom is in the air half the time, they're not gonna stick it in between two trees, and they said that we're better off having logging equipment come in, because it's obvious. They're right. You know. That was another option I've been thinking about too, is taking that $20,000 and putting that towards tree clearing.
Well, there was a
Instead of
line
roadside
called
mowing.
roadside maintenance somewhere that, whether you,
29.
yeah, going down further, that was a $10,000 line. Now, my concern from the budget committee isn't so much how, it is more on the total, because we know all the departments move things around in these lines until they get to their, quote, total. So, my concern is that we look at the total and not spend all our time just trying to decide whether it's roadside maintenance or equipment rental or, what, because in the big picture, that doesn't matter.
Right, that's what always been preached to me, is the bottom line, the big number at the bottom, so.
But you have to add up the pieces to get to the bottom number. That's how we get there. Any more questions on the regular highway part before we look at winter? Any Sue?
Yeah, I have a question about contracted services. We spent a lot of money on a top-of-the-line grader 2 years ago. And to contract out the grading is not saving the town any money.
Actually, we're not contracting all the grading, and we've already got over 700 hours on that grader this year. It's like what I said earlier about getting a better product to the town quicker. If I can get him out here before a massive rain, it's less chloride I use, less gravel I use, and it gets the town a better road quicker. And there's several towns in the area that use him. It's not only Lyme.
I know, but at least Norwich doesn't even own a grader because they use it.
I mean, Norwich owns 2 graders and they still hire him.
At one point they didn't, they just hired
Multiple
him.
towns hire him.
Any other comments from anybody?
And the roadside mowing, that's an issue because the vegetation on the roadsides is helping the road deteriorate. And if we don't do the roadside mowing, then it's just gonna be that much more work to keep the roads up to grade.
We didn't say we weren't gonna do it, I said I didn't do it this year.
Or last
And if
year.
you remember, you cut that line out when you were on the select board from
No, we
25
didn't
to
cut.
20,000. You knew that wasn't gonna be enough money to do the roadside mowing, because when we bid it out, it's always 22 to 25.
Well, it's not getting that kind of.
No, and the reason the roads are deteriorating, because they haven't been paved in years.
Ready to discuss winter? Any questions about winter or any comments you'd like to make about your winter proposal?
Usually that's pretty decent, I don't usually having too many issues on that. I don't know, looks like the overtime is an issue.
No.
Got a few $100 to spare for a couple months.
My question is, on this budget, are you proposing the same number of hours of overtime both summer and winter, independent of what the hourly rate is for your people?
Yes, yes.
it's up to the selectmen to decide what the hourly wages are.
You know,
Went from 3 to 10,000, up 7,000.
And I assume you haven't,
Well, a lot of things have changed, you know, you probably remember Fred ran a crew with 5.5 men in the winter. I'm doing it with 4.5 men and 4 hours worth of parking lots that he didn't have. So there's some of your increases there.
but this budget as presented
Right,
is the same number of
right,
hours
I'm not
in
changing.
both summer and winter for overtime. Because that's a number we can, it's independent in a way, and you budget your overtime.
It's not the same.
Any other questions anybody has?
Would it be quicker?
I have one. Franklin Hill Road has its problems in the spring. Coming up in between Maddox and Citadel Lane, does it make any sense to do any pruning on that tree line on that hayfield there?
It makes sense to prune the entire road.
It's just to let some light in,
Yeah,
dry it out.
that road, you must remember the great mud season, I think it was 2012 or 13, when all that rock was put up in there.
Lost my car.
Yeah, unfortunately, that rock is, all it does is hold water.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you see how it pumps out of the road almost year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to prune trees everywhere,
I mean, does that,
to let sun and light in.
well, that's not a power line, there's no power line there. So is that that would be the owner? That would be, have to get
I mean,
approval
we
for that?
usually get permission, I mean, I think it's 4 feet up, 4 feet diameter the town can take, but anything, that's not very big, anything bigger than that, we try to get permission.
Yeah, because they're big, they're just.
A lot of, you run
They're
into a
always-
real issue with a lot of landowners when you start trimming trees on their property.
You do, it's hard enough, it's hard
Yeah,
enough for
but that
outside
landowner
mowing.
uses that road every day.
You know?
I mean, it just makes sense to, I mean, is that worth pursuing? A lot of people use that road, coming down from
I mean, I'm
Hardscrabble.
gonna get a price together with a logger I've used in the past and see what I can do for $20,000. You know, I think it's a better option to spend that, instead of roadside mowing, to spend that money on logging. I did most of Orfordville. You probably never noticed last year, I took 6 tractor trailer loads off Orfordville Road. You never noticed that.
The other question is, what's the, is it feasible, to blacktop from the foot of Dorchester Road up to Maddox? Because that section of Franklin Hill Road, is the cost just
yeah.
prohibitive?
Just not without a lot of work. You know how those get those camel humps every year? We put an under drain on the upper part of it, which worked well. You'd have to under drain the entire road, and, yeah, I don't think you'd like it if it was blacktop. It'd be much more treacherous in the winter, but, I can't keep ahead of the blacktop we have now. It's in shambles everywhere.
And even though that is a bad road in the spring, the road that probably would be the first one to expand blacktop based on the condition is Baker Hill from Goose Pond to the town, Hanover Town Line. And that section would probably be the first section to get blacktop that isn't currently blacktop.
Well, you might know, why is Pinnacle blacktop as far as it is? What's the reason?
We extended it about 200 yards when we last paved it to get it to Massamori Lane with that one intersection to reduce the traffic. And those are based on traffic counts. And Franklin Hill, just to be honest with you, does not have the traffic count to justify a paved road.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't have it.
Do you know when Pinnacle was first paved? Because I know it's been paved for,
It was
40
painted on
or so years.
TRA money in the 60s.
Yeah, I thought it'd been a long time.
That was before they had the grant to the towns.
Oh,
They
yeah.
called it Transportation Rural something or other.
Mhm.
And that was what paved Baker Hill and Acorn Hill and Pinnacle.
The starts of all of them.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dick.
that was even before my time. Any other questions, comments concerning roads?
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you
Steve.
very
Have a
much,
good night.
Steve.
Now, I had one other thing on the agenda that I put there because of somebody that couldn't make it tonight.
Right.
And Gina sent out an email with quite an explanation on this gas fee. And I just want to add one thing. It's a fairly recent change to gas fee. And it came about because of some areas that had very, very huge unfunded retirement liabilities, a number of municipalities and states. So the accounting board, which is an advisory, not a real requirement per se, came out and really toughened up the accounting for post-employment potential expenses. And that was what, about 5 years ago, I think that came out. It's fairly recent, but that's what caused that. And the problem is you have to go through the actuarial to figure out what your potential liability is. It's kind of too small.
My understanding is it was a $3,000 to $4,000 initial, and then there's some ongoing costs for it, so the board at the time opted not to do it.
So,
We opted not to do the gas fee, but we did set up a fund with $7,500 in it, because some of these long-term employees, they retired in the middle of the year, that's about what the
you have to pay
payout
off
would be.
the leave.
So there is money there, so that we wouldn't take a big hit if somebody retired or decided to quit in the middle of the year with lots of vacation time and retirement time and everything else built up. So there is an account there to cover that.
And the school has an account like that also set up for post-employment retirement. But the problem is neither of them meet the gas fee requirements of the actuarial determining how much money should be in that account. We're just pulling the number out of the air.
No, we figured out what the maximum would be for our long-term employee and calculated it out.
So as far as
Just-
gas
just
fee is
pull that
concerned,
out.
we pulled it out of the air.
Okay, well,
Anybody want to make any more things? We got along perfectly well for 100 years without that requirement. I see one skeptical face at least. Anybody have any other business we should do tonight, or do we call it a really quick meeting? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
all right, see you all next week.
I found that